Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to honor and celebrate someone extraordinary, a woman whose strength, grace, and determination define what it means to be truly great. When we speak of a great woman, we must first recognize the quiet, unwavering force that shapes her character: resilience. Greatness is not handed out freely, nor is it defined by titles, wealth, or recognition. It is built in moments of struggle, tested in times of hardship, and proven in how she responds when the world tries to break her. Resilience is waking up each day when the weight of yesterday still lingers and choosing to move forward anyway. It is holding back tears so others can smile. It is standing firm in storms that others run from. A great woman endures, not because she never feels pain or fear, but because she refuses to let those feelings stop her. She has faced doors slammed in her face, battles fought in silence, and sacrifices made without applause. Yet through every disappointment, every setback, and every injustice, she has risen, not bitter, but stronger. Her strength is not loud, it is in the way she keeps going when giving up would be easier. It is in how she holds others up, even when her own heart is heavy. She turns wounds into wisdom. She takes failure and turns it into fuel. Resilience is not just surviving, it is growing through what you go through. That's what makes her great. Not that life has spared her challenges, but that she has refused to let those challenges define her. Instead, she has chosen to define herself. Each scar she bears tells a story of strength. Each setback she has faced has only sharpened her purpose. And through every trial, she has held on to her dignity, her compassion, and her will to rise again. That is the kind of greatness that cannot be taught. It is lived, it is earned, and it is deeply, beautifully real. A great woman does not shine only for herself. She becomes a source of light for those around her. Her impact is not measured by how far she climbs, but by how many she brings with her. She believes that success is most meaningful when it is shared, and that lifting others up does not diminish her strength, it multiplies it. Whether she is in a leadership position or simply living her daily life, she makes those around her feel seen, heard, and valued. She understands the power of encouragement. A single word from her can change the direction of someone's life. She knows how to speak life into someone when they are on the verge of giving up. She gives people hope when they can't find it themselves. Her kindness is not performative. It is rooted in genuine care, in the belief that everyone has potential, even when they can't see it in themselves. She reminds people of who they are and who they can become. Her impact can be felt in quiet moments: a comforting hug, a thoughtful message, a gentle reminder that someone matters. She knows how to be a safe space for others. She listens without judgment and offers wisdom without pride. People often leave her presence feeling lighter, stronger, and more capable, not because she solved their problems, but because she helped them believe they could. She is often the first to celebrate someone else's victory and the last to seek credit for her own. Her greatness is not fueled by ego, but by empathy. She lifts others up by creating space for them to grow, to lead, and to find their voice. Whether it's a child gaining confidence, a friend pursuing a dream, or a colleague stepping into their power, chances are she was the one who quietly planted the seed. What makes her impact so powerful is its consistency. She shows up day after day for the people in her life, even when she's tired, even when she's struggling. Her support is not conditional. She gives because she believes in people, even when they don't believe in themselves. And because of that, she leaves a lasting imprint on hearts and minds, not with grand gestures, but with steady, unwavering presence. She is a mentor, a guide, a source of inspiration, not always formally, but always intentionally. She sets an example just by being who she is. someone who leads with integrity, treats others with respect, and lifts those around her with grace and humility. People look to her not because she demands attention, but because her energy draws them in and her wisdom lifts them higher. In a world that often pushes people to compete, she chooses to collaborate. In a world that encourages judgment, she offers understanding. She doesn't see people as threats, but as allies. Her legacy is not just in the lives she's touched, it's in the strength she helped others discover in themselves. She uplifts, not to be admired, but because she believes that greatness is not truly great unless it elevates others too. A great woman is never confined to just one identity. She wears many hats, often at the same time, and transitions between them with remarkable grace. She is a leader when others need direction, a caregiver when someone needs comfort, and a friend when someone simply needs to be heard. Each role she steps into requires strength, empathy, and an ability to balance the needs of others with her own. What makes her truly remarkable is not just that she plays these roles, but that she brings her full self to each one, fully present, fully committed. As a leader, she doesn't rely on authority or demand respect. She earns it through her actions, her decisions, and her integrity. She leads by example, not from a pedestal, but from within the group. She listens before she speaks, she considers before she acts, and she inspires rather than commands. Her leadership is rooted in purpose, not personal gain, but collective growth. Whether she is leading in a professional setting, in her community, or in her home, she brings a vision that includes everyone and a strength that steadies those around her. In her role as a caregiver, whether the children, elders, friends, or even strangers, she shows up with compassion and consistency. She understands that caring is not just about physical tasks, but about emotional presence. She pays attention to the details that others overlook, a tired look in someone's eyes, a change in someone's voice, a silence that says more than words ever could. Her care is an act of love, given freely without expectation of anything in return. She carries the weight of others gently, never seeking recognition for the burden she helps lighten. As a friend, she is the one who stays when things get hard. She celebrates your joys and mourns your losses as if they were her own. She offers wisdom without judgment, space without pressure, and honesty without cruelty. She remembers the little things, the dates that matter, the stories you told once in passing, the things you love but never asked for. Her friendship is a refuge. With her, you can be your truest self without fear of rejection. She gives the kind of friendship that lasts, grounded in loyalty, nurtured by kindness. What makes her ability to balance all these roles even more profound is that she often does so while managing her own internal struggles. She may be carrying her own fears, doubts, and responsibilities, but she doesn't let them stop her from showing up for others. The world may never see the full weight she bears because she carries it quietly, not out of pride, but out of love. She holds families together, strengthens communities, and anchors friendships, all while still tending to her own dreams and battles. Despite the emotional labor that comes with these many roles, she rarely complains. She gives because it's who she is, not because she's expected to. And when she does speak of her exhaustion or her challenges, it's not to seek pity, but to remind others that even the strongest need support. She teaches that vulnerability is not weakness, it's a part of being whole. Her ability to admit when she needs help only deepens her strength. And those who know her are better for it. She may not always be praised for all the roles she plays, but she doesn't seek applause. Her fulfillment comes from knowing that she is making a difference in big ways and small. She builds lives, relationships, and communities, often quietly and without recognition. Yet the impact she has is undeniable. In every role she takes on, she leaves behind something better than it was before. A little more hope, a little more love, a little more light. That is what makes her truly great. True strength in a great woman is not loud or aggressive. It is quiet, steady, and deeply rooted in compassion, love, and wisdom. These three qualities do not compete with one another. They coexist in perfect harmony, shaping the kind of strength that builds instead of breaks, that heals instead of harms. Her strength is not the absence of emotion, but the ability to feel deeply and still move forward with purpose and grace. Her compassion is her compass. She has the rare ability to see beyond what people show on the surface. She looks past anger and frustration and understands the pain beneath. She doesn't judge others by their worst moments, but chooses instead to believe in their capacity to grow. Whether she is comforting a child, standing by a friend, or supporting a stranger, her empathy shines through. She gives people what they need most: to be understood, to be forgiven, and to be loved despite their flaws. Her love is not passive, it is active, intentional, and powerful. She loves with her whole being, not just in words, but in actions. She shows love in how she gives her time, how she nurtures, and how she sacrifices without keeping score. Her love is fierce when it needs to be, protective of the people she cares about, and relentless in the face of hardship. Love gives her the strength to keep showing up, to keep giving even when she is tired, and to keep believing even when the world is unkind. And then there is her wisdom, which deepens her strength even further. Her wisdom doesn't always come from formal education or titles. It often comes from lived experience, from lessons learned in silence, from battles fought in private, from mistakes turned into growth. She knows when to speak and when to stay silent. She knows that sometimes strength means letting go, and sometimes it means holding on a little longer. Her wisdom helps her see the bigger picture, to choose patience over anger and peace over pride. A woman of strength does not use her power to dominate. She uses it to elevate. Her compassion gives others a sense of belonging. Her love gives them courage. Her wisdom gives them guidance. The people around her are not just comforted by her presence, they are transformed by it. She makes others feel safe, inspired, and valued, not by controlling them, but by believing in them, by leading with her heart as much as her mind. Even when she is hurt, she does not harden. Her compassion allows her to forgive. Her love teaches her to hope again. Her wisdom reminds her that pain is part of life, but not the whole of it. She can walk through the fire and still choose kindness. She can be disappointed and still choose to help others. Her strength is tested often, but it never disappears. Instead, it deepens, becoming something unshakable. She may not always be recognized for this kind of strength, especially in a world that often equates power with force. But make no mistake, her strength is real and it is enduring. It is in every moment she chooses grace over bitterness, generosity over selfishness, and resilience over defeat. Her compassion, love, and wisdom are not just virtues. They are pillars that hold up everyone she touches. This is the foundation of her greatness, a strength that builds, that binds, and that never breaks. Perfection is often seen as the ultimate standard, but a great woman does not chase perfection. She embraces her humanity. She understands that flaws are not failures, but features of growth. She has stumbled, she has struggled, and she has made mistakes. But what sets her apart is her refusal to let any of those moments define her. Her power does not come from being without fault, but from being unafraid to rise after each fall. She is powerful because she keeps going, keeps learning, and keeps becoming more of who she is meant to be. She is not immune to doubt or fear. There are days when she questions herself, when the weight of responsibility feels too heavy, when the silence of disappointment cuts deeper than words. Yet even in those moments, she moves forward. She allows herself to feel, but she never lets those feelings paralyze her. Her power lies in her honesty, in her ability to admit when she is tired, to ask for help when needed, and to still show up for the people and dreams she believes in. Her imperfections are not weaknesses, they are windows into her authenticity. She doesn't pretend to have all the answers. Instead, she listens, learns, and adapts. She is not afraid to say, "I was wrong," or "I don't know yet." And in doing so, she models strength of character. People trust her not because she is flawless, but because she is real. She is approachable, relatable, and deeply human. And that is where her true power begins. She also knows that vulnerability is not something to hide, but something to own. When she shares her struggles, she does not lose authority, she gains respect. When she speaks about her journey, the detours, the heartbreaks, the recoveries, she gives others permission to embrace their own. Her story is not one of unbroken success, but of continual courage. Through every challenge, she grows in resilience and radiates a kind of power that cannot be taught, only lived. Her strength is built on self-acceptance. She doesn't waste her energy trying to fit into society's limited mold of what a woman should be. She knows she can be both strong and soft, both ambitious and nurturing, both confident and humble. She allows herself to be complex, and in doing so, she redefines power. She refuses to shrink herself to make others comfortable, and she does not apologize for owning her space, her voice, and her vision. She makes peace with imperfection, but she never stops striving for progress. She is constantly evolving, constantly reaching for something higher, not to prove her worth, but to fulfill her purpose. She sees mistakes as lessons, setbacks as redirections, and criticism as a chance to refine herself. Her journey is not linear, but every twist and turn adds depth to her power. It's a quiet, enduring power, one that builds over time and cannot be taken away. In a world obsessed with flawlessness, her power is a quiet rebellion. She chooses real over polish, heart over performance, and progress over perfection. She reminds others that being whole is far more valuable than being perfect. And through her example, she inspires others to own their stories, not despite the scars, but because of them. She is not perfect, but she is undeniably powerful. A great woman does not wait for permission to be who she is. She walks boldly into spaces where she was once told she didn't belong, and she creates room for herself and others. Her life is a testament to breaking barriers, not only those set by society, but also the invisible ones placed by tradition, fear, and doubt. Each time she chooses to rise above limitations, she proves that greatness is not about fitting into expectations, it's about shattering them with purpose. From an early age, she may have been told to be quiet, to be agreeable, to not dream too big. But she refused to shrink herself to make others comfortable. Instead, she challenged those boundaries, sometimes loudly, sometimes silently, and demanded the right to live fully. Whether she was told that her goals were unrealistic or that her voice didn't matter, she responded not with retreat, but with resolve. She decided that her future would not be written by others, but by her own hands. She faces resistance, not just from the outside world, but sometimes from within, from internalized doubts and inherited fears. Still, she moves forward with courage. Courage does not mean she never feels fear. It means she does not let fear have the final say. She stands in the face of adversity, knowing she may be underestimated or misunderstood, and still refuses to back down. Her confidence is not arrogance, it is clarity. She knows who she is, what she stands for, and why her presence matters. In breaking barriers, she often becomes the first to speak up in a room that silenced others, the first to pursue a path no one else dared to take, The first to say yes when everyone else said no. Being the first is never easy. It means carrying the weight of doubt, criticism, and even loneliness. But she knows that opening the door makes it easier for the next woman to walk through it. Her courage is never just about herself. It is about creating a future where others can dream bigger. She defies expectations not out of rebellion, but out of a deep belief that change is necessary. She is not content with simply existing in a broken system. She wants to transform it. Whether it's in her workplace, her community, her home, or the wider world, she questions what is and imagines what could be. She asks hard questions, challenges old narratives, and doesn't hesitate to speak truth to power. Her courage often disrupts, but it also rebuilds, stronger, fair, and more inclusive. Her confidence is quiet at times, bold at others. It's in the way she walks into a room without apology, in the way she speaks her mind with clarity and kindness, in the way she dares to try, even when failure is a possibility. She has learned to trust herself, to silence the noise of critics, and to believe that her dreams are valid. That belief fuels her, even when the path is lonely or unclear. She knows that every step she takes forward is a declaration of possibility for herself and for those who follow. And though the world may still try to confine her with outdated expectations, she keeps rising. She is not limited by other people's definitions of success, beauty, or worth. She rewrites the rules. She lives on her own terms. Every time she pushes past a limit, speaks against injustice, or dares to live boldly, she chips away at centuries of silence and conformity. Her courage and confidence are not only a source of her power, they are catalysts for change, creating space for others to rise with her. Her voice matters not because it is the loudest in the room, but because it carries truth, experience, and insight that the world desperately needs to hear. For far too long, the voices of women have been dismissed, ignored, or silenced, often not because they lack value, but because they held power. A great woman understands this, and she chooses to speak not just for herself, but for those who feel voiceless. Her voice is a declaration of presence, of purpose, and of power. She speaks from a place of depth. Her words are shaped by lived experiences, by the things she has endured, the love she has given, the battles she has fought, and the wisdom she has earned. Her voice carries stories that deserve to be told, stories of resilience, of injustice, of triumph, and of hope. When she speaks, she brings perspective that might otherwise go unnoticed. She turns silence into strength and pain into purpose. And in doing so, she changes the conversation. Her voice matters in rooms where decisions are made. Whether at a boardroom table, a town hall meeting, a family gathering, or a classroom, her insight brings balance, empathy, and reality. She is not afraid to question what seems unfair, to challenge what has always been, or to suggest a better way forward. She knows that progress cannot happen if only one kind of voice is heard. She insists on inclusion, not out of entitlement, but out of necessity, because every voice left out is a truth left unheard. She speaks up even when it's uncomfortable, especially then. She raises her voice against injustice, against inequality, against silence where there should be accountability. Her courage to speak is not about confrontation for its own sake, but about standing in alignment with her values. She does not allow fear to silence her convictions. Even when her voice shakes, even when she is met with resistance, she knows the cost of silence is too great. So she speaks with integrity and with purpose. She also knows when to use her voice to uplift. A great woman does not only speak for herself, she amplifies the voices of others, especially those who are marginalized or overlooked. She listens deeply, then speaks in ways that unify and strengthen. Her voice can be soft or strong, calm or commanding, but it is always intentional. She uses it not to dominate, but to connect, not to tear down, but to build up. Her words are tools of healing as much as they are instruments of change. In her everyday life, her voice matters just as much as in public forums. She teaches her children through her words. She comforts loved ones, and she speaks with purpose in moments that seem small but carry deep meaning. A quiet conversation, a written letter, an honest admission, a powerful no, or an encouraging yes. These are the ways she weaves her voice into the lives of those around her. Her voice becomes a compass, a presence that others trust and look to for guidance. She knows that using her voice is both a right and a responsibility. She does not take it for granted. She understands that there are women who came before her who were never allowed to speak freely, who were punished or shunned for expressing themselves. So when she raises her voice, she honors them. She speaks for them, for herself, and for the generations to come. Her voice matters, not just because it is hers, but because it opens doors for countless others to find their own. Great women are not confined to history books or spotlight stages. They are woven into the fabric of our everyday lives. They are not always adorned with titles or awards, but their impact is profound and enduring. We see them in homes, schools, hospitals, markets, offices, farms, and streets. They may not always make headlines, but they make a difference every single day. They carry families, nurture communities, and hold up the silent corners of the world with strength and grace that often goes unseen. She might be the mother who wakes before dawn and sleeps long after everyone else, carrying the invisible weight of love and responsibility. She is the one who sacrifices without complaint, who offers comfort without asking for thanks. Or she might be the teacher who pours knowledge, hope, and discipline into the minds of children, shaping futures with patience and care. She is the quiet architect of change, her influence rippling far beyond the classroom walls. There is greatness in the woman who runs a business with determination, who breaks barriers in boardrooms, or builds from nothing with her bare hands. There is greatness in the woman who fights for her rights, who speaks out for justice, and who uses her voice even when it trembles. These women challenge norms, reimagine what's possible, and remind the world that leadership comes in many forms. Their greatness isn't always flashy. Sometimes it is steady, disciplined, and deeply rooted in integrity. We find great women in our friendship, the ones who listen without judgment, support without condition, and love without limits. Their greatness lies in their loyalty and their ability to hold space for others, and in their courage to show up even when it's hard. They are not only emotional anchors, but sources of laughter, wisdom, and strength. In a world often filled with noise and distraction, their presence offers peace. Their words offer clarity, and their hearts offer refuge. Great women are in the trenches of hardship too. They are caretakers tending to ill loved ones, women navigating grief, rebuilding after loss, or rising from trauma. Their courage is in their survival and their refusal to be broken by life's harshest blows. They teach us resilience not through speeches, but through example. Their lives are testaments to endurance, to faith, and to the quiet but powerful decision to keep moving forward no matter what. They are also the dreamers, the women who write, paint, sing, invent, and imagine futures not yet built. These women carry the fire of creation within them, fueled by vision and persistence. They don't wait for permission to express themselves or to change the world around them. Their ideas shake foundations, their art stirs hearts, and their voices bring light to corners that have long been dark. Their greatness lies not just in their talent, but in their refusal to be silent. The truth is, we are surrounded by great women, not because they're perfect, but because they are real, because they love deeply, fight bravely, and live authentically. Their greatness is not measured by applause, by the lives they touch and the love they give. They are our mothers, daughters, sisters, friends, mentors, and neighbors. They are reminders that greatness is not rare. It is present, powerful, and always near if only we take the time to see it. So let us honor the great women in our lives, not just with our words, but with our actions. Let us listen to them, learn from them, support them, and celebrate them. Whether they lead nations or nurture families, whether they break glass ceilings or quietly hold the world together behind the scenes, their greatness deserves to be recognized. May we never take their strength, their love, or their wisdom for granted. May we raise our voices to amplify theirs, and may we teach the next generation to value the power of a woman, not for what she looks like or what role she plays, but for who she is. Because when we acknowledge her greatness, we don't just uplift her, we uplift the world. She is a great woman, and the world is better because she's in it.